Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. May I please introduce to you the fabulous, most groovy English language. Oh God, why did you make me do this?
You're going red.
I know.
So, I actually wanted to start, first thing is that I'm really impressed by how long it takes to set up and how much goes into it. So thank you so much, Chuck. And also shout out to Make Dream Productions. Yes? Yes. And I suppose as a little intro, the inspiration for Lego Make Languages, and that was basically because I've been an English language teacher in Ireland, in Cork. Shout out to Cork. For 7 years, and I kind of found that a lot of my students were going through the English language schools there, and after 2 years of doing this, they still kind of didn't know how to approach Irish people, chat with Irish people casually, in business, in any circumstance really. So it's kind of interesting, isn't it, after 2 years of doing that? So I wanted to make Lego Make Languages to help people really get on well in Ireland in whatever situation. Vocabulary especially is one of the biggest things. I think grammar is grammar, but vocabulary is a big thing for us. We have a lot of slang, which you're going to see a lot of with my brother. Will I introduce you? This is Alan.
Yeah, go on.
This
Hello.
is Alan. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely not. I'm not qualified to be teaching anyone anything. So.
Well, he's much more qualified than I am in terms of podcasts and production and all of that. He's a musician, so this is why we have all the fancy things around me. I was going to do this with my iPhone at the kitchen table, so it's great. Also for the podcast, then the idea is that we have kind of like a playful over and back. I think Alan is probably the victim in this.
I feel like that. That's how I feel.
Because we were talking about this before we started recording as well. We actually don't really learn grammar very well in Irish schools, like English grammar. We know how to speak it.
Barely.
Just like you guys in your languages as well, you know how to speak it, but also you have, I've found in my experience, a little bit more knowledge on how grammar works than Irish people. For example, can you give me an example of a noun?
Yeah. Noun. Like microphone's a noun, isn't it?
Well done.
Yeah, okay.
A microphone is a noun.
That was a guess.
You're already like, oh no.
Yeah, panicking.
Could you give me an example of a phrasal verb?
No. Is that like a phrase?
Yeah, I guess it's
Okay.
it's kind of like a verb that, what's a verb?
You're doing it. The
Well
thing you're
done.
doing.
Oh, I'm actually already impressed.
I'm not that bad now.
But I was. Honestly, 7 years ago, I told Chuck this story already today. In my first week or month as a teacher, I one day got a question from a student and he said, "Oh, so Meg, is that the noun or the verb?" And I said, "You tell me, guys." And I put it back to the students because I genuinely was not sure. I think it was something along the lines of production. I was like, produce, verb, production, noun. I don't know. At the
I don't know what that is though.
yeah, so
Production?
production
It's
is
a noun again, isn't it?
it's a noun again.
Okay.
Because it's the thing, but that's more abstract. So we can't touch it. We're not sure it's a noun,
Okay.
but it is.
Right.
So it is hard.
Is there another word for it, like that type of noun?
An abstract noun.
Oh, that's what it's called. Okay.
Yeah,
Abstract
an
noun.
abstract noun.
Interesting. Great.
But anyway, that's an example of how little I knew even when I started. But so I think you're going to enjoy this because I think you're going to know more than Alan in a lot of senses. More than a native, but in a funny way, I think. Let's have a look. Oh, yes, another disclaimer or warning. I told you I warned him that he's not allowed to curse in this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, my other podcasts, I'm allowed curse, and yeah.
Well,
It
it's
suits
pretty.
me. It suits me better.
It's pretty natural and native, but we're educating.
Okay, yes.
We're educating.
Yes,
So also shout out to your podcast if you want to get more Irish accents as well, like more listening practice, guys, and more very natural, very not practiced
yeah.
Irish accents. You can go to Woody's Massive Tangents
That's us.
on Instagram.
On Spotify.
Okay.
Just Woody with a Y on Instagram.
Okay. Woody with a Y, yeah. Could you explain what a tangent is?
When you go off topic,
Okay.
you know, when you're talking in a conversation, then suddenly it's like this conversation just goes off in a mad tangent.
Very good. A mad tangent.
A mad tangent.
Mad tangent. And you said the word massive as well. Woody's Massive Tangents. So what does massive mean?
Big, but really, really big.
Exactly. Very, very big. Good. Okay.
I could be a teacher, by.
Yeah, maybe you could actually. Maybe he's going to show me up. Like, let's see. I'm very interested. Okay. Will we try some of the students' questions?
Let's do it.
So let's go to Instagram and see which are the first few I got today. I actually just realized that I asked you what a phrasal verb was, but then I didn't tell you.
Yeah, that happens. That will happen. That's a massive tangent.
I just went on a tangent already. So now you know what tangent means, at least one word in the vocabulary list. But a phrasal verb, Alan, is when there's an action and then a little word as well, and they're everywhere. Like wake up, get up, anything that has the action and then a little word next is a phrasal verb.
And they don't mean anything.
They
Wake
change. Yeah, like what does get up mean actually?
Yeah.
Because when you think of
Get.
get
Up. Get some up.
it's so
Yeah, it makes no sense.
and that's, can you imagine the struggle of an English language learner?
That's just basic English, like,
And they're
to us.
yeah,
But it makes no sense.
exactly. And it's actually one of the hardest things about English. Like Spanish does not have that, for example.
There's a lot of English based on that.
It's one of the hardest things for sure.
Trying to think of examples now, but
Oh,
yeah, it's
One of my
It's everywhere.
students, yeah,
oh my god.
get up, wake up, like they're the first two things we do in the morning.
Yeah.
Hopefully wake up before get up. One of my students said, you have to just get on with them because they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Get on with is another one.
Yeah, it makes. Oh my god, makes no sense.
So they have a really hard job,
Yeah.
English language learners. More than Spanish language learners, I think. Like, I think I had an easier job. Okay, sorry. Another tangent. Our first student question is, Alan, can you explain the difference between either and neither?
Okay.
So I'll give you an example if you want.
No, let me. Okay. So like. Okay, right. I'm gonna order food. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want a Chinese or a takeaway?
Okay.
And if you say either, that means I don't care which one. I'll eat either one. You know.
Okay.
And if you say neither, that means you don't want either of them. Don't want either of them. How do you explain it? You don't want any of them.
So that's very good, first
Okay.
of all. But yeah, then you got caught because you said,
Either.
I don't want either of them. And now it means neither.
Oh God. How much do I actually even understand my own language? Oh my God.
But honestly, it's interesting. And
Yeah.
well done. You did actually a good job there. Well done. But I'm just going to tell everyone that it's either should be in that positive way Alan used, affirmative, like either, whichever one, I don't mind. And then if I say neither, it does mean not either. But also then if you want to say it in a full sentence and you've already used a negative, you can't use another negative, which would be neither. So you can't say I don't, negative, want neither, negative. So you can't repeat the negative there. So because you've said don't, you have to say either.
Right. Yeah.
So interesting. But well done, you answered very well. Good
You
job.
might hear that in some places, wouldn't you?
Yes, 100%. That's another thing. Like English.
Mainly places where like English isn't the actual native tongue.
Yeah,
Like,
now.
as in historically shouldn't have been.
Yeah, you're right. And also English is so widely spoken that it's ever evolving, and like a lot of things that like aren't grammatically correct are super acceptable now,
Yeah.
which is actually also something like Irish English a lot of the time.
Meme culture destroyed the English language.
It probably did. Yeah, it definitely had like something some impact.
Some impact of some kind.
Some impact of some kind for sure. Okay, that was really good, Alan. First one went really well. 1 point to Alan.
Yes. I'm coming for your job.
Uh-oh. You have enough jobs. You have so many. So someone actually asked you about a phrasal verb, if you could explain what to come up with means.
Come up with. Well, to come up with like it means to have an idea, isn't it?
Cool.
Kind of like that's how you describe it, just to have an idea.
Yeah. You have to like create something, don't you?
Yeah,
Like to
come up with. You would say come up with the idea
You
to
would.
do something though. You'd say
Well
it.
done.
You never say it on its own, would you?
You say come up with something always. Yeah.
Come up.
Like we came up with something great. We came up with a new idea, a new project,
Yeah.
something like that. So yeah, you're creating something. Well done.
Yeah.
But isn't it interesting again? Come up with.
Makes no sense.
And how would they know?
So happy I didn't have to learn this language. Oh my god.
I think someone put in brackets here. Jenny wrote in brackets, I don't know if this is easy. It's not for me. And Jenny, it is not easy. She asked you, what is the structure of the third conditional?
Let me tell you, Jenny. Megan, do you want to take it? Do you want to take it from here? What's it called?
The third conditional.
The third conditional.
Yeah.
Grand.
So every single sentence we say has a name. Like every single thing we say. And our students have to learn it based on the title. They walk into the classroom and we say third conditional, you know. And it's when you talk about a regret, you know. If he had studied more, he would have passed the exam.
Okay.
And
okay.
it's the structure, Jenny, is if plus past perfect, comma, would plus have plus past participle.
You may as well have just spoken Spanish to me there, because all those words were English. I had no idea what any of it meant, though.
It's so funny. Like, I think if I, in 2016, listen to me say those words, I would think, what? As well.
It's mad. I'm seeing now that people who come to Ireland and are learning English, like they have a better understanding of the language than Irish people do.
100%. Like,
Mental.
can you give me another example of that sentence I said? Give me something about your life in third conditional. If I did better in school, I'd be doing your job now. If I had done
If I had paid
better-
attention in school.
Can you hear that he's saying it in the past simple?
Is that right?
Nope.
No. What?
This is so interesting. And that's another thing, like grammar changes so much and we accept that. It's not a problem, you know. But it's not fair because natives can do it, but learners can't. And that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you should have said, if I had done better in school, what was the end of your sentence?
I'd be doing your job.
I would have done your
I
job.
would have done your job.
Mm-hmm. If I had done better in school, I would have done your job.
Oh my god. It's all unconscious, like.
It's so interesting, and that's what's so interesting.
Yeah.
It's so unconscious. It's so subconsciously just like no bother. It's crazy. Okay. Oh no, I want to ask more student questions. Sorry, I have some questions for you as well to talk about. One of the guys asked you what you'd say in an interview, a job interview.
I'd say in a job interview.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, I wouldn't get a job.
Oh wait, say that sentence slower. I'll tell you
I'll
one
tell
thing.
you one thing. There's yeah.
I
Nice catch.
love that. So he's giving you like colloquial gold, guys.
Colloquial gold.
I'll tell you one thing.
I'll tell you one thing. That's common. That's really common.
Okay, so explain it.
I'll tell you one thing. You basically just say that. I guess you say it to get people's attention.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, and it's like, I'm going to give you information.
Yeah, you're introducing your topic.
I'll tell you one thing.
I'll tell you one thing.
And you have to say it. You have to say, I'll tell you one thing.
I'll tell you one thing.
One.
Can you hear that Waterford accent? Very good. Love it. I was hoping that might come up because I was thinking it would. Isn't it interesting how really it's not as complicated as students think? It's just listening to this type of conversation. If somebody can pull it like that and just say it slowly and explain a little, sorted. Well done. But oh yeah, the question about the job interview, that's quite difficult. I'll make a video on job interview in English, okay? Because that's hard.
I wouldn't be the best individual to go for job interview advice.
Yeah. I do them for fun. No, that's not true. They're horrible. And then this is a question that might be hard for you to answer, but it's a great question. What book do you recommend? And then the actual question is to add vocabulary to my English. But what do you recommend? Any books?
I suppose there's no book in specific,
Mm-hmm.
but like just any fictional books, I guess. Like, you know, anything by a big author.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're full of new words.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
I would just add
Just
to
avoid Ulysses.
I haven't done that one. Yeah, I would add to like the most important thing is to pick something you like. Honestly, it sounds so simple, but it actually is the most important thing. Pick something you like, because if you don't read it, then you've done nothing. But if you read it and you get a few words, like if you like it, you'll read it. That's number one. Number two, I actually would say if you're going fictional, be careful, because it should be like real life in the sense that like a lot of fictional is real life, but it should be fiction about real life. If you read Harry Potter or The Lord of the Rings, you're going to get so much vocabulary that we don't use.
Yeah.
And you're going to make lists of things that you are learning off by heart. And then
Yeah, they use like old English in those books.
That's
Is there like old Spanish and old? You know?
And actually, well, in my Spanish teachers will have to help me on this one, but in my experience, Spanish structure and Spanish vocabulary and even the verbs sometimes are from kind of, or like because of Latin base, old English translates kind of directly to Spanish sometimes, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So like, for example, we say, who are you going with? And they say, with whom are you going? When you translate it.
I noticed that. Yeah.
That type of thing. Or like even the verbs like to find in Spanish is encontrar, and it's kind of like encounter in English. It's kind of fancier way of saying find something in English. So it's easy to make the connection sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we do another tangent?
Probably. They'll happen.
They will. Someone asked you, has learning another language helped you to understand our own language better?
I don't really know any other languages.
Yeah.
Like, I've attempted to learn a few.
Yeah, so has that helped?
Yeah.
I think.
You kind of pick up on things like that you would have never thought of
Yeah.
before, I suppose.
Yeah.
But like, I've never really successfully learned a language. Like, I've just kind of like dabbled in it the odd time.
Dabbled in so many. How many have you tried?
Yeah, but that's why I haven't successfully learned a language, because like I go and learn Spanish, and then like after a month I'm like, I'm gonna go learn Finnish now for no reason, like with no intention of ever visiting Finland, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's funny, but I think it probably the first few words, like the first few questions about nouns and verbs, maybe from that too. Like, I don't know if that's from secondary school. Do you know those from secondary school?
What do you mean?
When I
The
asked
stuff
you
you were
what a
talking?
verb was, and you said, no bother, you told me what it was.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say that's from secondary school.
Yeah, so it's probably from dabbling in languages.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose it probably is actually. You wouldn't have. Yeah, I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I said the word to dabble, and I don't think
To
that's very
dabble.
easy to get. Can you explain the word to
To-
dabble?
Yeah, to dabble, it's like to do something, but not be like completely in it, you know,
Good.
in that like how I
Perfect.
was gonna say engulfed in it, but like I don't know.
That's
if
okay. Engulf
yeah.
is probably similar in a lot of Latin languages. Yeah, absolutely. That was good. Like you're kind of testing it out all the time or trying it a bit, like dabbling.
Like if I dabble with guitar, I can't really play it, but I can do some things on it, you know?
Irish people love answering, "Oh, I dabble." Even if they're like, I think Chuck is pretty fluent in Irish, and I feel like you could have said, "Ah, I dabble," and it's out of like humility, really.
Yeah.
It's out of humility, probably.
Yeah.
Like being humble, you know. What are your most frequently used expressions? I might have to help.
You see,
Chuck can help.
You see, I'm not allowed to swear in this podcast. So so yeah, expressions. You see, I think you pick up on my expressions more than I do.
Yeah.
Because I use a lot of like Irish person expressions.
That's why I wanted you to speak naturally so we can grab them all. But one of them I heard earlier on today when we were setting up was happy days.
Happy days. Happy days, yeah.
Happy days.
Happy days.
Like, this is just a really nice remark we say when something good is going on. Happy days. When everything's all right, when we're just saying, that's nice, basically.
Yeah.
Happy days.
Nice one.
Nice one. Okay.
Lovely stuff.
Okay, whoa. Can you explain nice one?
Nice one. Okay. Nice one. It's like, I don't know. Like, if you, it's like, oh yeah, I was playing a match and I scored a goal. The person might be like, oh, nice one. As in, the one is that you got a goal. Nice one's very common.
Yeah. And we say one. The number one
nice
often
one.
changes to one. Nice one.
Depends on what county you're in, but
which counties?
Probably, yeah.
You might know better the counties, actually.
Munster.
Is it Munster? Nice one.
Nice one. Yeah. And Dublin, it's very like one. You know, very. Yeah.
That's interesting about.
Fair play is a good one.
Yeah, I did that today actually.
Okay.
That's interesting about this podcast too, because I see a lot of podcasts or videos between two people who are from Dublin. They're always from Dublin, and the accent changes a lot.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Yeah. It's a class divide.
No, but I don't mean just in Dublin. I mean actually in all of Ireland.
Oh yeah.
Like.
Oh yeah.
It's
you walk a couple of miles and you find a new accent.
100%.
Yeah.
Like. I get confused sometimes too. Like sometimes I think I'm on my Instagram being like, this is so Irish. And I'm sure people are like, that's not Irish. That's just English language. I'm shouting now.
I was about to say something that me and Patsy were talking about yesterday, which is an Irish phrase, but there's a swear word in it, so we won't get into it.
No, let's not get into it.
We won't get into it.
Great expression again. Another phrase.
We won't get into it.
Another phrasal verb. So many of them. We won't get into that now. We won't get into it.
That makes sense though. We won't get into it. Like we won't get into that discussion.
But what does get mean?
We won't get. We won't get ourselves into it. We won't. Yeah.
Yeah, but I get you because it's like get into the car. Like you get into the car, and we won't get into that discussion.
You have me questioning everything now. It's like, what does get mean?
What does get mean? I'll tell you that if you translate get to Spanish, there's like 32 translations. And each in Spanish is a different word.
What?
And in Portuguese, I think there's 17, for example.
Lovely.
I remember asking a group of students to do this, and they all had a variety of numbers, but they were a lot in every other language. We have get. My phone is going to do that thing where it's a limit. 1 second.
Oh yeah, because you go to sleep at what? 8 p.m.
Yes, it is. Turn off screen time. I've never done this.
She's healthy.
I'm very healthy, very regulated. Okay, this is a question I think is going to be good. Can you give me examples of words to describe someone who is annoying you without cursing?
Someone who's annoying you. See, I don't even know what's a curse and what's not a curse now.
Oh no, I just mean the big ones. You can Irish curse, like dope and those
the big
things.
one, the main one is they wreck my head.
I'm so glad you said
that.
That's
like the most common.
Yes.
Oh, they're a head wrecker.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is brilliant.
Wreck my head.
This is gold. I made a video about this that I haven't put up yet. You've robbed it. But yeah, oh, he wrecks my head. And I have wrecked already on my Instagram, because the vocabulary there, the idea with the vocabulary on the Instagram is that I hadn't found those in course books. In 7 years of teaching, I didn't see them in course books. Wrecked, gas for funny. You know, if you go on the Instagram, you'll see them. And that's a really common word. So when he wrecks your head, it's like destroying your head. Like
the other one is I couldn't be listening to him.
Brilliant.
I couldn't listen. But there's a lot of like kind of like weird phrases that Irish people use as well.
Of course, yeah.
You know?
Lots.
Like that, I can't even think of any examples now, but it's like you'll hear them say it and you'll be like, I have no idea what that meant. And usually when you hear someone say it, it's probably, even if you're an Irish person, it's probably the first time you've heard that phrase as well.
Yeah.
I think Irish people kind of make up phrases on the spot, don't they?
Well, I honestly believe, maybe I overdo this, but I honestly believe it all comes from Irish, the language, the Irish language. My students always call it Gaelic, but the Irish language and Irish, like in general, those, like, I couldn't be listening to, I don't know, that's pretty Irish, that's pretty English, I mean, but I think the way we phrase things, because Irish is very poetic and like, I don't know, colourful and descriptive. So I think a lot of that. But yeah, that's good. I couldn't be listening to him.
I notice as well, Irish people, like, because we have Gaelic, Irish people put a lot of like Irish words into English sentences. Like, you know, say like, it wouldn't be uncommon to hear an Irish person be like, oh, I'm going to go down to the shop and buy some banya, which is milk. You know?
100%.
Yeah.
So can we please feel some sympathy for the learners? Like, you do it, guys. Good job. But yeah, banya is a big one. And like shoppa, I thought you were going to say shoppa.
Yeah, go to the shop. Some people might even put a full Irish sentence together.
Yeah, 100%. We just did it a second ago, but we were trying to impress Chuck.
Oh yeah. We have an Irish speaker in our presence.
We're trying to be cool. Cooler. Some girl asked you, would you like to speak Spanish, and that she'll teach you.
I'll speak Spanish.
I'm supposed to be a Spanish teacher, but he never comes to class.
Hey, I've been sick.
Oh yeah, he's very sick.
I've been very sick.
He is very sick, to be fair. Okay, another vocabulary / grammar question for you that I think is going to be a little bit easier than the tenses. Leave him alone with the tenses, guys. He's my little brother. When to use although and when to use nevertheless? Or maybe we can say, what's the difference? Think about that one.
So although, so you say something, and then I don't know how to describe it.
Just say an example sentence first.
I'm not good at that. Yeah. All right. No, I can't think about it. But it's like, although is like if it's in the middle of a sentence, it's like the two things on either side of although are like can't exist with each other.
Cool.
You know?
Nice way of describing it.
Yeah,
yeah, and easy to understand.
Something is this way.
Yeah.
Although, no.
Yeah.
It's also not that way.
Yeah, like, you know, we kept recording although Meg wanted to go sleep.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Did I do that right? Yeah. Although Meg was getting tired, we kept going.
Okay, I'm going to use that because I needed a prompt. But then if you flipped it, you'd say nevertheless.
Oh, interesting. So flip it.
So Megan wanted to go to sleep. Nevertheless, we kept recording.
And also, nevertheless, do you say nevertheless?
No, like it's in a lot of books by authors of every like generation, but people wouldn't say it in actual conversation.
Probably more written, or sometimes I think
it's
we
in
could
a
say
lot of
joking.
Books.
Like sometimes we could go nevertheless, like
if
we're kind of being formal, funny, formal.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, so although is a little bit more normal, and that brings me to though in general. In Ireland, just though, like, I like it though. I don't know about you though. What do you think though?
Those are really common.
We say it all the time in Ireland.
Yeah, it comes up a lot. I even notice that when I'm texting. I'll put like too many those into a text and have to take a few out then.
Yeah.
That happens to me a lot.
How do you spell it when you're texting?
THOUTH.
That's
Though?
thought. I think.
No, thought has a T at the end.
THOUGH. You said TH at the end, but I think it was just an accident.
That's just pressure from being recorded and
That's an
having
accident.
cameras on me.
Actually, I have to. I'm gonna say, because of what just happened, he's actually very he always types everything correctly. Like, if you read our conversation, you would think he's the English teacher. I'm like, hi, how you, though, THO, like, and you're like, Megan, please stop it with this text talk.
Oh yes, you were trying to get me to say THO.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Go back again.
Teacher.
Go back again. Ask me that question again.
Okay.
So.
This is what teachers do, by the way. They just like guide you to what they want you to say. But I forgot that you text everything perfectly.
Sorry about that.
That's also lame. Everyone, don't do that. You can text like, you can text shorthand. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you? So how do you spell though when you're texting? What's that letter?
THO.
Very good, brother. You got it. Very good, brother. So, but that's not how you spell it. But we do that in texting. And that's the idea. I always am trying to make, learners, like, let them be allowed to be as casual as we are. Because that's the language too. And they feel more pressure than us, So it's nice if they can also know, though, at the end of everything. Because I'm not really sure why we say it all the time. I think we're kind of timid and we're asking for, I don't know though, like
very, very timid people.
Yeah. Do you think so?
One or the other. There's two extremes, I think. Irish people can go in one way, or else Conor McGregor, know.
We won't even. No, it's just funny. I just hate him. I mean, we won't even talk about
I
him.
thought you were telling me not to put Conor McGregor on blast in case, like.
No, actually, the world needs to know that most Irish people hate him now.
Really don't like him.
So please stop telling. Chuck is nodding.
Yeah,
Chuck is nodding
agrees.
as well.
Yeah.
The
Irish
world
people,
needs to know.
Irish people are more fond of like Roy Keane. I think.
We have lots of lovely characters
Hosier
in the world, but Conor,
I think Hosier is a good example of like a generic Irish person. Like
Hosier is brilliant.
The average Irish person.
Could you name like your favorite song so the students can?
My favorite song by Hosier is called Run.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
But he has a lot of, I think you could really listen to any of his songs and they're all very good.
Hozier.
Yeah.
He's a really nice, very famous artist. And I think actually when I think about it, his music wouldn't be that difficult in terms of listening. It wouldn't be too quick or anything like that. So
yeah, some of it's in Irish though. So
that's problematic.
Yeah. Maybe a couple, maybe 2 or 3 or something.
Are they in Irish?
Yeah, he started doing more Irish songs now.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Okay. I think I have 1 or 2 more. Hold on. So these are questions that came up a few weeks ago, actually, and I just thought, why not do them with Alan? Right. Now, we're into some interesting territory, and it's mainly very like Irish-y.
Okay.
For example, I do be going to the shop.
I do be going to the shop.
Do be going. So we've just put 2 auxiliary verbs, which doesn't happen, and an ing verb afterwards. Do be going. I do be going to the shop. Right, so what are you saying?
I do be going to the shop means I often go to the shop.
Well done. It's the present simple, lads. Which is crazy, honestly.
I think it comes from the structure of the Irish language. Being is to do be.
Yeah, well, Chuck would know better than us now, but apparently if you translate it, it works very well.
Yeah.
We're not Gael Gores.
Which is an Irish speaker.
Someday. But
We'll get there.
which is an Irish speaker, sorry. Great teaching assistant. You have to come with me all the time.
Brilliant, yeah. I'll be like Igor.
So fab, who's Igor?
Frankenstein's fella.
Oh, right.
I think
Right.
something like that.
I said so fab.
So fab.
We love to shorten things.
Yeah.
Fabulous. I would never say fabulous.
Fab.
But I
Yeah,
say
no
fab.
one ever says fabulous. Yeah, fab.
We all say fab.
No pressure.
So do be going just means I go to the shop. So don't overthink it if you hear Irish people throwing lots of verbs into their sentences. Just ignore it. Well done.
Just ignore them and walk away.
Even better. Just keep walking. And know that it's not your fault. Maybe it's their fault. Because that's something as well. Like when you're a learner, you always think it's your fault that we're not understanding each other. But that's actually just not the case sometimes. Sometimes I sit in a car with an Irish person, mainly of an older generation, and I'm like, sorry, what did you say? Honestly.
It's a common occurrence. Very, very common.
Sometimes I ask Alan to sit in the front.
Like, even if you're talking to someone from a different county, like, just like 2 hours over the road, it's like, no idea what they're saying.
Absolutely.
Over the road. 2 hours over the road.
You're starting to know which ones are Irish now.
Getting there.
I'm getting there.
What was it? Alomeg languages.
Almeg.
Lego Al languages.
Anyway, I was about to say how I really wanted ALPTK to stay.
ALPTK. No, it's malnourished Al now.
Follow Malnourished Al Music on Instagram for music. Irish music. Good listening practice. I'm after going to the shop.
I'm after going to the shop, yeah.
I don't know if do you know that that's very Irish?
Yeah, the jockey said that in it. What's her name? Something Blackmore. Rachel Blackmore.
Okay.
I think won some like race in England, and she said that. It's like, oh, I can't believe I'm after winning this. And all the English people thought she meant that she thought she hadn't won it yet, although the race was over. They're like, oh, it obviously hasn't struck her yet that she's after winning it, like, or that she has won it.
Oh my
But,
God.
yeah.
Well done. So you know what that means then? You know that the actual way.
Yeah.
You should say,
I'm after doing it means I have done it.
well done, I've just done it.
I've just
the
done
literal
it.
translation would be just, like when something's very recent, so we say I've just been to the shop, like don't make me go again. I'm after going to the shop already, don't make me go again. Well done.
Yeah. I'm just after sitting down.
I'm just after sitting down.
Yeah.
Like we're mixing things here. I've just sat down. Wow.
Yeah.
Well done. Very good. So if you hear I'm after going, don't worry. It's just I've just been. Someone asked, can you explain fair enough?
Fair enough, I'll try.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Jeez, you can use that. Like in any context, really. Fair enough means like.
You'll have to give us some context.
So like. No. I don't know. Why did you break the plate? I just didn't like the look of the plate. And it's like, okay, fair enough.
Fair enough.
You know?
So in that context,
So I'm not arguing with you, just fair enough. Whatever,
good.
like, you
Yeah,
know?
good. Nice. I like it. I'm not
Yeah.
arguing with you. Fair enough.
It's like, it's not too much of an issue that I need to argue with you, so it's fair enough. you know?
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's really interesting though, because we use it a lot. So is it just when it's that, like, fair enough? All right, maybe if you're,
It's actually, you can be more sympathetic as
Yes.
well. Like,
yeah,
if
if
like,
Alan comes in and he's upset with something and he starts to explain why he's upset, I'll say, well, fair enough
yeah,
for
fair
being,
enough.
I get you, like, I understand why you're upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can actually use it in any context, really.
It's very good.
Yeah.
It's something along the lines of like understand and empathizing.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
But we're very sarcastic, so we could say that exact thing and
Yeah.
mean, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, think about it. You can use fair enough whenever.
Really?
Whenever, yeah, fair enough.
Hello, fair enough.
No, as in like it doesn't. The tone doesn't matter. Like, you know, as in
Yeah.
you say fair enough. It doesn't have to be like I'm not going to argue with you. And it can also be sympathetic. It can be in any other circumstance.
I guess we're landing though on understanding. Like,
understanding.
I'm not going to argue with you. It's fair enough. Like, I understand, or I'm done arguing because I get it now.
Yeah.
So it's basically like saying I understand, but not in the sense that you comprehend. Like, if you're saying something if I'm saying something to you in English, and you say, I get it, I understand, you mean you comprehend what I'm saying. In that context, we wouldn't say fair enough. If I've explained something to you and then you grab the context. Would you say fair enough?
Yeah,
Oh.
fair enough. Not always, probably less common in that situation, but you would still say it and you'd still
Yeah.
get away with saying it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's kind of like you stop and think and you're like, fair enough. Yeah. If you don't need to respond to the question, you can say fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
Whoa, there's a
If you're
lot.
telling-
That's a
I
really big
also-
one.
I also said another Irish thing there when I was explaining fair enough. I said, I don't like the look of it.
Yeah, that was I thought about that. Go on. So say it
That's like-
slower firstly.
I don't like the look of it. Which means like... it
I
means
don't
exactly
trust.
what it says. Yeah,
I don't
if-
trust it.
If you're like, oh, I don't like the look of him.
I don't like the look of him.
Say, he's dodgy. Oh, he's dodgy. That's another one. He's... What does dodgy mean? How do I explain dodgy?
Dodgy.
Dodgy
Has
is
been
like-
really hard to explain in my
rough.
career.
Did they say rough?
Rough is hard as well to explain. Dodgy and rough in this context is when you also don't really trust something or somebody. So even if we were like, if Chuck, when he was preparing everything, setting up, he could say, oh, that camera's dodgy. And it's like you don't trust it.
Yeah. But you wouldn't say that camera's rough.
Oh, God, true.
You'd say dodgy. So like a thing can be dodgy. Like say this lead is dodgy.
True. It's not
But
working
you wouldn't
correctly.
say it's rough.
No. Rough. So you were talking about rough and dodgy being for people that you don't trust.
Yeah.
Because rough kind of insinuates that they'd cause you harm, that you're in danger with that person. So
Some form of like criminal.
yeah. So rough is more like danger. And then dodgy can be just things being dodgy
Yeah.
and they're not working very well or you don't trust them.
Yeah, I have a dodgy phone.
Wow. We're getting a lot of vocab, guys.
Yeah.
This is great. This
So-
is exactly what we wanted.
So yeah. I don't like the look of him.
I don't like the look of him.
That's where that came from.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm translating his accent into teacher voice. It's great.
Is it that bad?
No, it's not. It's not that bad. It's just funny because, like, it's interesting how much it comes together, and I would never even think about it when I'm having a normal conversation with you, but I'm just making sure that you can hear each word, because you said I don't like the look of him, I don't like the look of
Yeah.
him, and
Irish
look
people-
of him went together. Look of him.
Irish people talk fast as well.
Yes. Even I still talk fast, actually. My students always say, are you slowing down for us? And I always say, well, I try, but I don't actually succeed. Like, within 20 minutes of class, I'm like, the same, you know. Apparently, our generation speaks clearly, though, so it's all right.
That's all that TV and internet.
Now, you said it.
Now.
Now.
Now, there you have it.
Oh, my God.
Now, there you have it.
Now, there you have it. Makes sense. You got it. But I love how we just say now all the
Now.
time in Ireland.
Now,
Now?
yeah, that's everywhere as well. That's like
Now?
the entire country says that.
Yeah, like
Now.
everywhere. And we say it all the time. It's just a filler, actually.
It's just like
Doesn't really mean anything.
after you've made a point.
Yeah.
Now.
And it can be after most things. I like it. I like that now. Why do we say now
Oh,
there?
yeah.
That's a nice cup of tea now. Just a
Oh,
filler.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a filler.
If it's like
honestly.
right after the sentence, like,
Yeah.
you know, immediately, like, I like that cup of tea.
Yeah.
That was a good cup of tea now.
Yeah. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
we're not actually saying anything about right now.
Yeah.
But they have that in Spanish too, actually. They have ya. And
Yeah.
they say it all the time.
Yeah.
And it kind of translates to now sometimes. Yeah. We say
Okay.
yeah.
We say yeah.
Hell yeah. But
Yeah.
for us, it's you.
Yeah. But it's also yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we say yeah, though? We say yeah.
Yeah.
For yeah. For yes.
Oh no, Irish people do the inhale because there's no Irish word for yes, so we go.
What?
That's it. That's yeah.
I've not heard that
If
before.
you're telling me a story, tell me about your weekend.
What was I doing this weekend? I went on a nice walk. It rained a lot. Go away with that. Really?
Go away with that. That's another one.
Go away with that. It makes sense. Go away.
Yeah, but yeah, if you talk to an Irish person and they go, it's like that's them nodding along.
I get
saying,
you,
yeah,
actually.
yeah.
I do get you.
But it's also an affirmative. Like, is that what they call it?
Affirmative.
Yeah.
Well done. Oh my gosh.
You're not the only ones learning, huh?
Huh? Okay, I'm going to bring it back to grammar. I think if you've stopped paying attention, pay attention now. This is really good. Okay, can you explain the difference between I'm going to do something, I will do something? Why would I say I'm going to work or I will work?
I don't know. I'm going to work. I'm going.
I'm going to work.
Okay, so like not I'm going to go to work.
No, I'm going to go to work as well. It's the same.
No, because I'm thinking I'm going to work. It's like I'm on the way to work. I'm on my way to work.
Okay, yeah, you're present continuous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Sure, why not?
And then I will work is more like I will work when I'm there.
I'll work when I'm there. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll work when I'm there. I'll do it. Like, yeah, I think what's actually happening there is that there's actually kind of a big difference between them. But when I say it like that, it doesn't sound like a big difference. But really, you wouldn't say I will work. You'd say I'm going to work later. I'm going to go to work later. I'm going to do it later.
Yeah.
Really?
You wouldn't say, yeah, even like.
Would you say I will work later? I will work on Monday. Maybe it's hard to think about now.
No, you wouldn't. You would say more like I will do it later.
Yeah, I'll do it later.
But you wouldn't say I will work later.
No, he has it because that's what it is. I'm sorry, I knew this already, but I wanted us to try and get there. Like, the difference is, he said, in the moment, I'll do it later. Because that was a spontaneous decision about the future. But going to, or the way you used it as well is fine. Present continuous. They're for plans. So about work, you shouldn't say, oh, Meg, I'm not going to come to class tomorrow because I will work. It's because I'm going to work. Because that's a plan. That's arranged. It's timetabled. Whereas will is spontaneous. And when I ask my students, someone said it this week, so if you're watching, I said, how do we speak in the future? And she said, will. And I said, yeah, that's because it's easy. Because it's really short and you just put it before the verb. Boom. But actually, it's for instant decisions only. So if you can't plan it. You just kind of go in the moment. I'll do it later. You've decided your future in the second. I love this one. Can you describe some stretch in the evening?
Some stretch in the evening. Oh my god, that's nearly like that's a joke now in Ireland because of how common it is. True. So like after the winter months when like the weather starts getting better and the evenings are getting shorter.
Evenings longer.
No, evenings longer, nights shorter.
True.
They say there's some stretch in the evening.
Some stretch.
Stretch, like the time is stretched.
Yeah.
It's in the length of it.
Because my student thought that we were exercising in the evening.
I could see that. I could see why they would think that. But like that's like, yeah. It's gone to the point now where if you say there's some stretch in the evening to an Irish person, it's just automatically funny.
You know? Really?
Yeah, like two Irish people will say to each other, like
some stretch in the evening.
Like, it's getting to March, late February, March, and it's like, I'm going to say it. Some stretch in the evening. Just the entire room just erupts laughing.
True. It's like we're all waiting. Wait, we're all trying not to say it. We're trying to not be the first person to say it or something like that.
Who's going to say it first?
Who's going to say it first?
And then we're all going to say it for 9 months.
Because if you're a student or learner who has lived in Ireland, you'll understand the obsession with the weather. But if you're from outside of Ireland or haven't lived in Ireland, we're obsessed. Because it's crazy. It's mental.
Yeah.
It's mental. But that was great. So you're not stretching. It's the time stretching out in the evening. Yeah. Good. What's the difference between going out and going out? To an Irish person. You don't go out that much.
So like going out, it's going to depends though. Like going out, I'd say going to a pub.
Yeah.
Sitting down, having a few pints.
Yeah.
Having a few. That's an important one to know. Having a few means having a few pints. Write that one down. Yeah, going out is having a quiet one out in the pub.
Yeah.
One being session.
One
And
session.
then going out is like going to a loud, noisy place where you're dancing
Wow.
and drinking a lot more.
Very well said.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say out, like let's go out to a pub, let's go out means something more extreme.
Yeah.
So to a nightclub probably.
Are you going out or are you going out?
Nice, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And we can say that about home and home. Maybe this hasn't happened to you because you didn't move away from Waterford to go to college. But we used to call, when I was in Limerick, we would call Limerick home, and then Waterford for me, home.
Yeah.
So like, are you going home this weekend? Are you going home this weekend?
Ah, yeah.
You going home this weekend?
Yeah.
And it's just, again, more, it's some bigger and more important in some way. Well, nightclubs are not more important than pubs, but I mean bigger in some way. I have just someone asked me for the top, was it 10 or 20 Irish slang? I think we probably got through at least.
Are we like top 10 is in our personal favorites? Like we're ranking the top 10 best pieces
it
of
actually
slang.
says 20. But I think we've probably got to at least 12 on this.
There's a few, yeah. There's a few in there.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's hard though. I don't know. I should have a list for this, but I actually put in the word feck.
You're not. I told you, Megan, you're not allowed to curse on this podcast.
That's our cheat.
Yeah.
How you cheat.
Feck is allowed.
Feck is allowed, and it's very Irish.
Because that way Holy God couldn't get you.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So if you're frustrated, you can say feck, and no one will judge.
Yeah.
I don't think many people judge cursing
Jesus
in
is
Ireland
another one.
anyway. Jesus.
Jesus instead
How do you spell that?
of JAYSUS.
S-U-S, for sure.
Jesus.
Jesus. Very good. But that's English.
That's English.
That's English. I got through all our students' questions, and thank you for sending in your questions. It was so fun. I had a great time. You took a lot of the pressure off me. The presh, as
The press.
Chuck, as Chuck said earlier. But it was fun. I had a good time. How did you feel?
I felt nervous. It's being recorded at all angles. And I'm the first thing I said in this podcast is that I'm not qualified to be doing this. But I did it anyway. So yeah.
I think the whole idea as well was, to have a bit of crack.
A bit of crack.
Bit of fun. Have a bit of fun and not take it too seriously. I hope it can be a good resource for you to listen to some authentic conversation and get quite a lot of vocab out of it as well. And just listen to two Irish people chatting about our version of the English language. So thank you. And thank you to Chuck and Alan.
Go on, good luck.
Bien hecho, hermano. Bien hecho. Will we high five now? No, we won't. Okay. Bye.
All the best. All the best.
All the best. All the best. You always land on the right spot.
You're wearing a lot of rings.
I am always. All the best.
Go on, good luck.
Why
God
am I
bless.
waving
All
like
the
a
best.
loser?